Dr. Adam Matthews with Matthews Counseling, and we are with one of our therapists, Hannah DeMello, today. And we are talking about it's back to school time. We see lots of kids and teens in our practice, and so we want to give some resources for back to school. And one of the things that Hannah and I are going to talk about today, that I know I've experienced with my kids, is the idea of how to help your child connect with their teacher, which is a really important thing, especially when you have younger kids and wanting to help them walk through that. So Hannah, talk to us a little bit, like what's so important do you see about about helping a child connect with their teacher? Why is it important? Why do we need to kind of think about it? Why is it difficult? Those types of things.
Yeah. So as kids start the new year, there's a lot of that nervousness around the fact that this is a new place. This is going to be a new group of people. That it's an adjustment, and really, when kids are having the harder time with that, or if they're having a bad day at school, their teacher is the first one that they're going to turn to in class, and they're going to be that first line of the support system around them. So feeling like they can connect with their teacher, feeling like their teacher knows them a little bit, and they're able to recognize that, okay, well, this person is someone that I can trust with my issues, or that I can come to, and they're actually gonna help me when I need it. It's a really important thing to feel like they're able to do that, so that their needs don't go unmet in the classroom.
Yeah, because the safer they feel in that relationship, the more connected they feel, the more likely is that they're going to speak up when there's issues, like when there's any bullying that's happening, when there's any kind of learning issues, anytime they're feeling unsafe or unwell, being able to connect with their teacher. I think kids a lot of times instinctively hold it in. Some kids do, and being able to have that safe space tends to then allow them then to speak up, right? And what are some things that you think keep kids from being able to connect to their teacher? Like, what are the things that kind of get in the way, those obstacles that keep them from forming that safe, connected relationship with their teacher?
So a lot of times kids who are shy, or who are maybe not naturally inclined to feel comfortable around strangers in general, that's going to be one of those things that it's going to be automatically just a little bit harder to connect with a teacher like that. Or if they are new to the school, or if it's a completely new environment, I think that's going to be something that really the first instinct might be to sort of sit back and to just sort of protect what they can about that space, which is their personal bubble and everything. So I think that I think some kids are going to be more inclined to hold that stuff in, or to be able to express that more openly. But I think that there are just different strategies for different kids. So it really depends on what everyone's individual situation is.
Yeah, exactly. I like what you said too, because it's something I don't think we always think about, is this idea that for the majority of kids, a new teacher is a stranger.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we oftentimes think that because the teacher is the teacher, right, they're in that position, that our kids should have a different level of interaction with them than they would a stranger that they don't know. But it's helpful to me as a parent to keep in mind that my kid is meeting a stranger. They're meeting somebody that's completely new to them. They don't know. And just because they hold the position of teacher, it could be difficult for my child to fully connect with them. And I love that just little shift in thinking that becomes really helpful for me there. So tell me a little bit about what we can do as a parent, right? Because it's not fully dependent on us. We can't force our kids to connect. We can't we can't help make the teacher more or less approachable, or whatever depending on the teacher's personality as well. But what could I do as a parent that could support my kid in maybe forming a better connection with their teacher?
Right, right. So I think the first interaction with the teacher is going to be very important, and usually that happens on a meet the teacher day, an orientation day. One of those experiences where you are just able to be in the classroom with your child, introducing them to the teacher, getting to know them a little bit yourself, also. So I think the way that you're sort of inviting or engaging your child in a conversation with their new teacher can be just really helpful in itself. If you're able to have like a more relaxed or just an informal introduction with them, it's it really is modeling that this is a person that is safe, is you can trust them. This I as a parent know them now. There's that connection there. So just the way that you're able to establish that rapport with the teacher yourself can be something that your child picks up on and recognizes a little bit, that this is someone that they can trust as well.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes that's hard for parents too, to be able to do that. But I like that idea of like modeling how to connect, how to
Mhm.
introduce yourself to a new person, to this new person that they're going to be seeing on a regular basis. And I think that in a situation like an orientation or a meet the teacher night, like oftentimes there's other people there too that can maybe, that if the parent is more assertive, can really help in showing their kid how to do that, can be really, really helpful. I love
Mhm.
that. You
Yeah.
also, in your blog post that you wrote about this topic too, you also talk about this idea of letter writing. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
Yeah, I think, especially as we were talking about children who are more inclined to be either shy, nervous around meeting new people or being in new spaces, it can be really hard to feel like you're having like that sort of meaningful introduction with a teacher on those first couple days. So another option for that is if they're more comfortable writing about themselves, then writing a letter, or you helping your child draft an email to their new teacher. And so that really can include a lot of meaningful things that may not come up as naturally in a face-to-face conversation. So things like writing about or inviting your child to write about their strengths. So having them build that self-confidence to be able to tell someone like their teacher that, these are the things that I feel like I'm good at. These are the things that I feel good doing. And on the other side of things, writing about their struggles as well.
Yeah.
So if they feel like they're struggling with a certain topic in school, or if they're new to the school, it may be something like I'm new here and I'm really wanting to make some friends, or like I don't really know anybody at this school. So just including some of those little details that might be areas that your teacher could step in to help
Mhm.
in certain moments, or to just have that mindfulness of, okay, well, we're doing this thing. I'm going to be extra aware that I'm able to support this child who might be
Yeah.
struggling with this.
Yeah, I love that idea. I love giving kids alternate forms of communication, especially when verbally they may not be the most assertive, or they may
Hmm.
be more quiet. Like, giving them alternate forms of communication is really good. And you're talking about it in terms of letter writing, but all schools now too you're able to email
Yeah.
the teacher directly,
Hmm.
and most kids have emails, and so being able for them to even write that out in an email, or any concerns that they're having, or introducing themselves through that email, I think, or I love a good old fashioned letter too. So being able to, if
Hmm.
they, it also I think helps teach a little bit of being able to connect, to go in and hand a handwritten letter to their
Hmm.
teacher. I think is just a fabulous idea, and I love that ability to give kids alternate forms of communication. The last one you talk about is just this idea of encouraging them. So tell me a little bit about that. What do you mean by, how do we encourage them? What are we encouraging them to do
Hmm.
to help connect?
Right. So throughout the school year, many teachers are going to offer or have like these little moments of time, whether it's before school, during lunch, or waiting for the buses or the car rider lines. There are these times that aren't, so much like the teachers standing at the board, like giving instructions. So there are these moments that kids might be able to take advantage of in terms of connecting with them a little bit more on personal things. So like what was happening during the weekend. Maybe they do feel like they want to come in and share that with their teacher in the morning, or what's going to be going on for them the rest of the day. And so that's one of those things that if you have time for that, or if you know that their teacher has these times that they offer for just like that little bit of extra connection, then if you're able to encourage them to say like, oh, hey, your teacher would love to hear about that this morning, or I think it'd be really interesting to tell them about this because I know that they have, like a dog, so they would be able to relate.
Yeah.
Like all those like little things that you're just able to do to introduce the idea that, these are things that a teacher would care about too, or these are things that you can tell them, and that's definitely okay.
Yeah, I love that too, because you're supporting them also thinking through different ways, different things that they could talk about, because it's almost scripting for them the interaction. And I think it's really that's a really helpful, because it's a cognitive idea called scaffolding, right? Like that idea that you have the framework to be able to go in and have a conversation or to have a meaningful interaction. And so being able to do that and encouraging them to do that really helps them to have that framework of what they're going to say, which I think can build a lot of connection. Hannah, if there's one thing you want parents to know about this topic, about helping their kids connect to their teacher, what is it that you want them to know?
I would say that it's definitely an exercise in some of that confidence building and some of that self-advocacy. It's going to be skills that you're going to be able to use throughout your lifetime that you can practice in a classroom like this. And that is really, those first couple of weeks of school, they're really good opportunities for some of that self-advocacy where, if you're able to express what you need and be able to ask for help when you need it, then, it's going to be something that's, skills that you use even as an adult throughout your life.
That's so great. Thank you, Hannah, so much. I really appreciate it. I think that it's an idea that we don't often think about as parents, but we should be thinking about it. And we may notice that it's another support system when we get when our kids are able to connect with their teachers. And everybody, we just encourage you to think about too, as parents, that every kid is different developmentally. So every kid this is not an indicator of anything that's kind of wrong or bad about your kid or anything that needs to be corrected, but it can be very helpful, especially in noticing issues. But if you want more help thinking through parenting strategies or how to help and support your kids, or need support for your kids themselves, we have therapists with immediate openings and availability, and we'd love to be able to come alongside you and support you in that. And you can request an appointment at matthewscounseling.net. Hannah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.